Welcome to How to Yu-Gi-Oh!
How to Yu-Gi-Oh! Historic Archetype. Adventure.
Chapter 1.
Alrighty then. So in this video, I'm going to talk about adventure and its impact on Yu-Gi-Oh! With that being said, let's get on with the rest of the video.
Chapter 2.
Here we are. And so in this video, I'm going to talk about adventure. And as you can see in front of you, you can see a card called Illegal Knight, which is part of the adventure cards, and Dracoback, the Rideable Dragon. Indeed, these two cards, I think Illegal Knight is not used, but Dracoback is part of the adventure engine, which consists of one Dracoback, if we go to the next slide, three Water Enchantress, and three Rite of Aramesir. We go to the next slide, one Fateful Adventure, and one Wandering Griffin Rider. And as we'll continue, we'll go back to that first slide. So that is the engine. And this engine is an engine that has been famous in Yu-Gi-Oh! As it's our first negate engine in Yu-Gi-Oh! As before this, we do not have a negate engine in Yu-Gi-Oh! We had hand traps, obviously, but an engine of an archetype that just you could put as an engine in any deck that was a negate was something that did not exist. This was a completely new concept, and it was something that we'd never had before, but lo and behold, it was done by Konami. This is something that revolutionized deck construction in a way that in a way that was completely different to how we built decks in the past. And adventure is part of the reason why engines became a huge factor in building decks in the future in Yu-Gi-Oh!, especially in the deck creation scene. It really opened players' eyes, especially in TCG and OCG, about engines, how to incorporate them into your deck, and what skill ceiling they can add into your deck, and how they can raise the skill floor of your deck and raise the ceiling. And really crack the ceiling and power level of decks. You could really raise the ceiling of decks by adding an engine to it. Sure, in the past we had cards such as Gem Knight, Brilliant Fusion that gave you an additional summon. But Gem Knight and all these were just one card. These were extra deck cards. We're talking about a whole engine, a whole ass archetype, right? That raises the power level of your deck to a new height. Decks such as Prank Kids Adventure. Okay, you could even at the time you could even go Phantom Knights Adventure, Branded Adventure, Virtual World Adventure. The possibilities were endless here, and what you could do with adventure is something that cannot be understated here. It was absolutely amazing and fantastic. And I think that's all I've got to say about this. Let's head on to the conclusion.
Final chapter.
Okay, and so we're now here at the end, so let's talk about it. And all I've got to say is that adventure is the most famous engine we have in Yu-Gi-Oh!, right? Especially for negates. Have we had engines before in Yu-Gi-Oh? Indeed we have. But the concept of an engine and putting it in decks, Adventure is the first of its kind to promote this concept of an engine and really push it to the forefront for players to understand what it is all about. The fact that you could use this so that you could prevent, negates, especially you could prevent you losing 20 Biru or any sort of hand traps that could be seen as a problem. Adventure really showcased to us again as players how an engine should be utilized and how you should use it to raise the power ceiling of your deck. Remember that adventure was a new concept, and engines are a new thing. And as more engines have been introduced into Yu-Gi-Oh!, none has laid an impact more than Adventure. And in fact, later on this year, we will get new support for Adventure, and we'll see whether this will bring back Adventure and put it back onto the spotlight. Although now the engine for Adventure is really quite big, so I really don't know if Adventure can be utilized once again. But what I do know is that Adventure has its place in Yu-Gi-Oh! History and is definitely an archetype and an engine that has shaped Yu-Gi-Oh! For years to come. Well, that's all I've got to say in this video. Tune in next time as I talk about more things on this channel. Hope to see you soon.
We come to the end of this video. So, as I like to say, you are one step closer to becoming a Yu-Gi-Oh! Master. My fate, right, is in your hands.